Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is green tea, girl. Taking it back to the basics, just straight up green tea. It's stash bagged green tea. Remember when I used to only drink loose leaf tea? A girl ain't got time for that. All right, so let's jump into this before the gardeners get here and ruin all of my sound. Here's the tea. First, let's start off with Roseanne, girl. Roseanne messing everybody money up. I actually really enjoyed the fact that she was a pro-Trump supporter in the revamping of the Roseanne show. I do think that there needs to be room for those who are Trump supporters because obviously they feel disenfranchised in some way to have voted that man into office. And so I have heard their cries and I'm living and suffering in their decisions. That's neither here nor there. I really like the fact that they were doing the diversity. The show was actually doing really well for the network. And then I don't know, like they're saying that she was on some kind of medications. I don't know, some kind of opiate. I don't know what kind of medication she was on, but girlfriend got her thumbs to tweeting on Twitter, tweeting something super racist about Valerie Jarrett, who worked for Obama in the White House during his administration. She said that the Muslim Brotherhood plus Planet of the Apes equals VJ, and VJ is Valerie Jarrett. And I guess there's some kind of conspiracy theory that's running around the alt-right web, and Roseanne has 100 bought into it, and it must include Valerie Jarrett. And so she went and tweeted that, and then she pulled back to apologize, but I believe Wanda Sykes had already tweeted that she wasn't going to be working on the show anymore because Wanda Sykes is a writer on the show and a black woman. And you know what I mean? I'm just like, it happened so quick. It makes me think that more was happening behind the scenes, but they were just kind of like letting it happen, you know what I'm saying? And trying to like get all the cast and crew and everybody who works on the show, keep them in their money, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not just Roseanne that's losing out from the show being canceled, it's the entire cast and crew. Like, and I don't think that they should be held responsible for her choices, but in this case, in this industry, they are, and it really is, it sucks, you know? So, I mean, not to say that these people aren't gonna bounce back and find jobs, you know, but I'm just saying, like, to have that pulled in from underneath you it sucks. So, and I know someone who's a writer on the show as well, so I guess I have another extra layer of like, oh, that sucks, you know what I'm saying? Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is Brigitte Nielsen. Remember her?
Clever.
For whatever reason, I was always like quite enamored with Brigitte because she was so tall. Something about her is alluring to me, the same way something about Grace Jones is alluring, and I have a certain amount of respect for these women. And she's pregnant. She is 54 years old and she is expecting a baby. She looks like she's like 6 months or bigger, you know, 6 months or more, because she's got a belly. And there has been so many negative commentary about her having this baby. And I don't understand it, especially from women. A lot of people were making comments about the fact that she's too old and that's selfish and, you know, what kind of parent is she gonna be? But honestly, there are grandparents who raise their grandchildren all the time. You know, maybe those people who have the criticism have had experiences where 54-year-old people are knocking on death's doorstep, but not everybody has that experience. People in my family live very long. They live to at least 85. So I mean, if she's having a kid at 54, maybe she has a child at 55, to live to 85 years old, I mean, the child would be 30 years old, and that is a fruitful life, I feel, with their parent. And, you know, as long as Brigitte keeps herself healthy, and I think she should be fine. And a lot of people manage to keep themselves healthy and fit throughout their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Like, it happens all the time, and I just think it's really limiting to put that kind of restraint on her. If she can have a baby, if her ovaries are still working at 54, I mean, God bless her. You know what I'm saying? Like, Janet had that baby at 50. Like, these women are wealthy women who can afford all the help and all the health care they desire. They are not the same as you and I, and if they want to have their babies later on in life, I don't see anything wrong with it. And to shame them, making comments about their being irresponsible or whatever, is just so ignorant. There are people who have their children at 19, 20 and pass away by 25 just from circumstances in their lives or accidents. You know what I'm saying? And there's no guarantee that anybody's mother will live past a certain time. And so to say that it's irresponsible for her to do that, I think is foolish. But you know, people have their opinions. I'm just trying to give an alternate view on that situation. Here's the tea. I feel like I spent so much time on this lip that I barely want to drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like missing my mouth on purpose. Like, let me just drink this. So the next thing I want to talk about, you guys, don't forget to thumbs up and like this video if you like what I do here on this channel. It really, really, really does help me, and I thank you so much to those who comment and always, add something to it, even if you disagree with me, even if I upset you. And I know that I had a situation last episode where some people got upset, and I just want you to know that I'm not trying to upset you, and perhaps this wasn't the platform to talk about that, but I thought it's important to think through my thought processes, especially if there's people who are thinking like me, like to expand the horizon and open up their notions about the way things are. And if on the way I stumble and I say something that's offensive, I appreciate the call out on it, but know that I am working. You know what I'm saying? I'm working towards being better. I'm not just saying it to offend you and be staunch and stuck in my ways. Like, I'm talking through it because I know that I'm wrong or that I need to expand the way I think, and I'm all about that. So thank you for those who commented to me. I never meant to upset anyone, and I just want to, you know what I'm saying, to put those issues out there, to have good discussions about them. And I hope they don't end up with negative things in the comment section. But I just wanted to say that. So if you like what I do, thumbs up, share this video, show it to your friends. I want to get this channel to grow. And the only way YouTube and the algorithm knows that is by engagement and liking the videos. So just wanted to say that. Okay, so the next thing, here's the tea. So last week, Kim Kardashian met with the president, and we all laughed because we were like, what the heck is going on? And then she announced that she was going to work with the president to pardon a non-violent drug offender. Drug offender? Non-violent drug offender. Yeah, I think that's how you would say it. So Mary Alice Johnson has served 21 years in prison. She had a life sentence, and she served 21 years for, let me read it, charges of conspiracy to possess cocaine and attempted possession of cocaine. I don't know how that gets you a life sentence unless it was like 75 kilos of cocaine and she was like some crazy drug pen woman whose actions directly caused the deaths of a lot of people, but that seems very excessive to me. So Kim Kardashian has been working with her and a program called Can Do, which is to help get early pardons or early releases for people who are in jail for non-violent drug crimes. Alice Marie is from Alabama, so I don't know what the drug laws are in Alabama, but they seem that they're very, very strict. At least 21 years ago, they were like super strict. That is kind of insane. President Trump has agreed to pardon Alice Marie Johnson, and that is a win for Kim Kardashian because she went in there to have talks with him. And they're also looking to pardon other people who were in prison for nonviolent crimes. And so part of me is just kind of like, okay, she's doing something for some people, and I think that I'm definitely very happy for Alice Marie, 100%. And I don't want to take away from that. And so I'm just kind of like, let's see what happens. Kim Kardashian did something good for someone. Let's see what happens. So the next issue, here's the tea. I remember like a month ago in March, no, 2 months ago, right? It's June, March. Wow. My God, 3 months ago. Woo, where has the time gone? Okay, so in March, North Korea let go of some prisoners, right? And those prisoners were somehow in Air Force One. I don't know if Air Force One went and picked them up from somewhere, but they came out of Air Force One with the president and the first lady and, waving, and it was like a win for America. They let go of the 3 prisoners who were held in North Korea. And it looks like North Korea on the low, like, they patrol their borders pretty heavily, and if they find somebody who's like, I guess, trying to sneak in or trying to get a peek or is in a no man's zone, certain parts of North Korea, that they will pick you up and detain you just on GPS. And so the White House was able to get them released. I'm not sure what the trade was, but they were able to get them released. I will have the links down below. But it looks like this is something that a lot of presidents have done. Like Clinton did the same thing. Obama did something like this, but it was on the hush hush, And so like, it's kind of like, I guess, a silent thing that happens, and North Korea just kind of detains folk when they can, and then just is like, what are you doing in our country? Like, they're very, very much about their closed borders. This is why I brought that up. So the tea is that since then, no one has seen Melania, and everyone's like, where's Melania? I guess it was like 20 something days and no one had seen her. Apparently she was having some kind of kidney situation, and so she was out due to that. If that is fake news, then like, I take back my hope you feel better. But if it's not fake news and it's the truth, she does have like an 11-year-old son. So I hope that she stays healthy enough to take care of her child. I mean, she obviously has help. a lot of it. But you know, when people have young children, I'm a little bit more like, oh, that sucks. I honestly think though, Lolo, that if more people, especially Black people, like Melania, she might be known as one of the most fashionable white ladies. Now, first ladies. Don't get me wrong. Like, I do think that somewhere on the web, there is a site dedicated to all the fashion of Melania Trump, but you would think that all of these magazines who had Michelle Obama on there would have Melania as well. And I feel like Melania has served some looks. And I'm not gonna be specific, but I'm just saying. She walks around in 6-inch heels, no platform. I'm just saying, as another woman to another woman, like, I know she served some looks, and she's not celebrated for her fashion the way I think she would be if people didn't dislike her husband so much. She doesn't get to be like a Jackie O first lady. She's like a first lady who we don't see her in 21 days, and we think that she got traded to Pyongyang for the prisoners. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like literally people making jokes about she hasn't been seen since the trade, so maybe Trump traded her in for the people that he got from North Korea. You know, I'm just like, I feel bad for her a little bit. Just a little bit. No. All right, so we're moving on. Here's the tea. Okay, so Toys R Us. So we all know that Toys R Us's doors are closing, and I just never really felt anything about it. A lot of people felt a real deep connection to Toys R Us. Listen, I was a kid who like didn't even want to go in Toys R Us because I knew I wasn't about to get nothing. So Toys R Us was like this place that I just like Chuck E. Cheese. Like, we wasn't going in there. I wasn't gonna get to play any games. Nobody was gonna buy me anything. So I don't have that feeling towards it. But in 2005, they got bought over by an equity firm, right? And so this equity firm purchased them. And then in order to purchase them, I think they took out loans and put the loans onto Toys R Us. So the idea was Toys R Us was supposed to pay off that debt, right? But 2005, think about it. Like, the internet was taking over, you know, everybody was moving to online. People didn't really have physical play with physical toys like that. Everything was like electronic. So like the toys that you would get would be for infants, right? And so Babies R Us did well, but Toys R Us slowly declined, and Babies R Us's like profits weren't enough to save Toys R Us. And so it looks like at this time, they're gonna lay off like 30,000 people and then not pay them any severance. And that, I think, sucks, especially for the people who've been working for Toys R Us for like, you know, decades. They're not going to get any severance for staying to the end. So if you left about a month ago, you got a month of severance. But if you're leaving, if you sign a contract to stay to the very end or whatever, then you're not going to actually get anything. And you better be interviewing right now. And that is horrible. And it's horrible because the equity firms, those people who work at the top, they're getting their cut. Like, they're getting their pay. And the same thing with the execs. Like, so there's a clause in the law that when a company goes bankrupt, that they give the executives of that company extra money as like an incentive to stay on and help turn the company around. Because there's a lot of companies that go bankrupt and they turn themselves around, you know, Donald Trump. So like, it happens, right? And so it's a kind of a sad thing, but also like it's a kind of rebirth at the same time. And Toys R Us just couldn't do it. Like, they are gonna have to let everybody go and close all of their doors. And I think it just kind of makes me sad for the people. And the laws just aren't on the side of the employees. They're just not. The employees that work, you know, in the brick and mortar. And one of the equity firms who bought them in 2005, Bain Capital. That's Mitt Romney and them, y'all. Like, Mitt Romney's company had something to do with the fall of Toys R Us. So I was reading a lot about it, and they were basically saying that it was due to bad management as well. So it's not necessarily Mitt Romney's people's fault. It's the execs who worked at Toys R Us who just made bad choices, starting with that 2005 deal. So those people who are affected by that, I really hope that they're able to turn it around and find a job and move on with their lives and aren't completely devastated due to this situation. Here's the tea. Beyoncé released photo of her babies. I can't really see what's going on in the photo. I wanted to check her Instagram and see if she like dropped the picture on the Instagram, like a very clear picture so that we can all see and we're not squinting. But it's at the opening of her tour. And so if you bought tickets to her tour, girl, you get to see it. Nope. Picture is not on her Instagram. Power couple. Fashion Nova be on every celebrity's timeline in Instagram commenting. They love them some Cardi B. Anytime Cardi B farts, they're like, Cardi B is the best. I'm like, okay, Fashion Nova, we get it. We get it. So the last thing I want to talk about today is the Pusha T and Drake drama. Now, it turns out that Pusha T dropped some information about Drake that honestly hurt my feelings. Like, I don't know. I guess I just was like, you know, Drake has this very good guy image. And I was like, oh, a rapper who's being responsible with his sperm, doesn't have any children, you know, been successful and rich for a long time. And it turns out that this man done had a baby with an Eastern European porn star. And this woman, like, she ain't even cute. And I hate being that. I feel like I'm feeding into the patriarchy by tearing down a woman based on her looks, but she ain't even cute. And I'm mad about it. And like, not because I was like, ooh, I love Drake. Drake's my man. I was just like rooting for Drake. I was rooting for Drake to not have kids until he's married. It's just because it's just such an anomaly in his business. Like, dang, man, you just lie the rest of them. Pusha T, like, is letting do all the tea, talking about his dad, talking about how he's a deadbeat dad just like his dad. And I'm like, that is a low blow, bro. You do not know what all Drake is doing for that child, how often he sees that child. They could be FaceTiming every day, and Pusha T don't know that. So anyways, they're waiting for Drake's comeback, but somebody was saying that Drake's comeback is gonna kill everybody's career. It's gonna kill Pusha T's career, it's gonna kill Kanye's career, and that's just not the type of dude he is. So he's really thinking about and sitting on his return of the diss track. And I also think it's kind of like annoying that they brought that up. Like, leave that man alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't gotta tell his business like that. Dang, Pusha, dang. Speaking of like somebody releasing situations, so here's another story. This is not the last story, I lied. Here's the tea. Handbag designer Kate Spade committed suicide this week. She was 55 years old, and she wrote a letter to her daughter, which somehow got out to the media. And it just makes me mad that somehow it got out to the media. Basically, she told her daughter that she was sorry and it wasn't her fault, and to talk to her father about the situation. And I just feel like, damn, like I wouldn't have known anything about her daughter or that letter if someone hadn't published it and made it, you know, like now we know that Kate Spade killed herself and then told her daughter, it's not your fault, ask your dad. Like, that's too much information. And I'm perpetuating it by telling you guys, well, that's TMI. And like, I think the people need to be responsible and not put stuff like that out there. Like, dang, this is a person's life. This is a person's child. This child now has to live with this. I mean, it's just sad. Well, leaving it on that note, the lawn man is here. All right, you guys, so that's it for this episode of Morning Tea. If you'd like to join the conversation below, please do. Go ahead and like this video, hit that notification bell and all the other things that everyone says that you should do in order to support your favorite YouTuber. I accept that award. Go ahead and do that for me, so you know, help us out. Check out my reviews. I'm doing reviews on The Bachelorette and I'm doing reviews on 90 Day Fiancé. Even if you don't watch the shows, it doesn't matter. I try to give like a pretty in-depth storyline about what happened in the episode. A lot of the people who watch those reviews don't actually watch the show. So go on ahead and check your girl out on the other videos that she has on this channel. I'm really gonna try to keep a good, strict schedule. All right, you guys, thanks so much. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.